Hello, and thank you for joining me again today on the Finding Hope After Loss podcast. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. If you love the show, please leave a review or a rating on Apple or Spotify to help the show reach more people. One of the toughest things after going through infertility or loss is the continued struggle to get pregnant or to get pregnant again. You're so desperate to get that positive test, and it can be hard to be patient and to give our bodies time to prepare. And doctors are so quick to jump to medications and treatment, which can be helpful in a lot of situations, but they don't ever stress the importance of diet and nutrition. So today I am talking with Joanna, who is a fertility nutritionist, and she is talking about the importance of what you eat before and during your trying to conceive journey, along with your pregnancy journey. Hello, everyone. Today I am here with Joanna. Joanna, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I am a fertility nutritionist. So what that means is that I work with women and couples who are trying to get pregnant to help them to prepare their body through diet, lifestyle, mindset, preparing the environment in their home in terms of limiting exposures to things like endocrine disrupting chemicals, and just supporting them and guiding them through their fertility journey.
So do you mostly work with women or do you work with men as well?
Mostly women, because I think they're more motivated to seek help, but I do offer support to the men as well in the couple, because I think it's important to also make sure that the sperm is as healthy as possible. And when the couple works together, they can kind of create their own support system and keep each other motivated and accountable during all of the work.
Do you find that many people don't really understand how important the nutrition side of things are for fertility?
Yeah, definitely. When women reach out to me, it's usually because they've tried everything else. And so they're trying something that it may be considered alternative or their last chance, or just they've heard about it from someone else. So they want to learn more information. And a lot of them have told me that they're not really taught anything about nutrition from their doctor, about the importance of it and how it can help them increase their chances of getting pregnant. So it is something that I think more women are learning the importance of. And I'm always excited when someone reaches out to me, because it's showing that it is becoming more popular and more common to get that nutrition support for fertility.
I know you mentioned it seems a lot of people see it as more like an alternative treatment, but it really shouldn't be when you think about it. Like it's, the fuel that we give our bodies, and that should be just a normal thing we all learn about, not like an alternative thing, to eat healthy.
Yes, it's very foundational, and it's something not just for fertility, but just for health in general. I think a lot of people forget the importance of good sleep, good nutrition, good mindset, moving their body. Those foundational things, they may seem kind of boring and not as necessary as some other kinds of interventions, but it really is the basic support that we all need.
I feel like sometimes too, people think, diet and exercise is hard. It's harder than just taking pills or,
definitely.
doing whatever. And it's like, sometimes, even though it's not really, it seems like taking just the medications is like a shortcut, even though it's not.
Yeah, like some magic solution that will solve all their problems.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So do you, when you first meet with somebody, what do you start? Like, how do you start your process?
Well, first, so that I know as much information as possible, I do an intake with clients to know like if they're on any medications or what their health history is, how long they've been experiencing certain things, and everything from like digestion to their sleep habits to what their daily food intake would be, and just kind of creating an overall picture of their health. And then that's the first step for creating the plan for them.
So what kind of things do you plan for them? Is it just like do you actually do meals, or do you just do like, these are the types of foods you should be eating?
It depends on each client because some want very detailed support and they want recipes and things like that. And then some just want, maybe some of them already have a really great diet foundation and they love to cook. So they're familiar with healthy eating, but maybe they just need to increase their protein intake more, or maybe they need some more fiber, things like that. So it's kind of fine-tuned to each client. Yeah.
It sounds like an interesting job, though. Have you always been interested in nutrition, or what got you into it?
I I've always kind of been interested in nutrition and food. My university studies were in food science and biology, which was a really interesting field to study. But when I started working in the industry, I was working in a food microbiology lab for a major Canadian company. And I realized that the company I was working for, they didn't produce foods that were really health promoting foods. So after I worked there for a few years, I realized, okay, I don't want to be in this industry making unhealthy food. So I went back to school for holistic nutrition. And that was like really when my interest in nutrition became deeper and I became more excited about everything. And I want to talk to everyone about, wow, look at this cool thing I learned, or look at this book I'm reading. And it became more of my passion after that point.
I definitely, when I was in college, I wanted to originally go to school for nutrition. And then I was like, oh my gosh, it's so much science. I'm not the
Yeah,
best
yeah,
at
there's a lot of
science. So,
science.
so yeah, I didn't go through with that. But yeah, definitely you have to know a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So do you see people with different kinds of fertility issues, or do you mainly end up seeing people with like the same conditions?
A lot of women, they they may not have a certain condition, but they're just not, like, for example, a lot of women don't know exactly when they're ovulating. So it's kind of also guiding them with that, knowing the signs that their body is showing with their basal body temperature, the signs of the fertile cervical fluids, and teaching them about that because the timing is really important too. Of course, we want the nutrition and everything to support the body, but a lot of women have that as like their missing piece.
That's really interesting. I think, I didn't learn a lot about my cycles and things like that when I was growing up, or, anything like that. It's
Me
just,
neither.
you're all told like, okay, you have the 28-day cycle and this is when you ovulate and I had PCOS, so I didn't even have
Mm-hmm.
regular cycles. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't like, nobody's telling me anything. It's just, here's some birth control and, let's come back when you want to get pregnant.
Totally. I think we're taught so much about how to avoid getting pregnant, which is like birth control, condoms, this or that, but not about, okay, now I'm ready to have a baby. What can I do besides, okay, just going to have sex? Like there's a lot more that can be done. And I think it's really important to talk about that as well.
So, what do you think are some important things that people need to know about nutrition in general?
When, in general for fertility,
Yes.
yeah, that when you want to get pregnant, I think preparing the body for pregnancy through nutrition is so important because when you're pregnant, that baby is going to take all of the nutrients, everything it needs, and your body's going to give it to the baby first. And then the mom gets whatever is left over. So, building up the nutrient stores so that you have everything that you need and the baby needs is really important. It's going to make it obviously better for the baby, but better for you too. And then better for the mom during the pregnancy and in postpartum period as well. So I think that's really important. And also the quality of foods and making sure we're getting a lot of nutrition is important because we're building a baby. Whatever we're eating, those amino acids and the antioxidants, everything that we have is supporting our ability to nurture that baby as well. So it's something that shouldn't be overlooked. And I think preparing well in advance, 3 months or even 6 months before you try to get pregnant, to really get your body as healthy as pregnancy and building up the nutrient stores, like I said, is really valuable for the mom and the baby.
So do you recommend that people eat the same type of diet when they are trying to get pregnant and when they are pregnant as well?
I think it depends on, so I recommend women who have maybe some hormonal imbalances. There's ways to eat that support the hormones and maybe some additional foods or supplements that they might be having before pregnant to support hormone health that shouldn't be included when they're pregnant. So things like maca, or if they're taking Vitex, chasteberry, or maybe Schizandra berry, like there's some things that can influence hormones that shouldn't be had when you're pregnant. But I think overall, the basis of the diet, with a lot of proteins, a lot of omega-3 fatty acids, a lot of antioxidants and fiber, that can carry over into pregnancy as well.
And what about postpartum? Like, what do you usually recommend for people postpartum?
I don't work with a lot of women postpartum, but it would be the same. They still, because if they're breastfeeding and producing that milk supply, you still want to make sure you're getting really good quality food and enough food. And it's not the time to try to diet and get your body back. Like you need to focus on recovery because you just gave birth. Like your body needs to recover. You still need to fuel yourself with all of those good foods. So yeah, eating well is important during that whole time.
I think we have, that pressure from society too, that we have to bounce back so quickly to our pre-pregnancy self. And so, like you mentioned, the dieting is, I think, something a lot of people try to do because they think, oh, I got to lose this weight right away. I got to get back to my same size. And this person did it. Why can't I do it?
Yeah, because your hormones, everything is changing and adjusting, and you want to just be gentle on yourself and provide your body with good, nutritious food so that you're not stressing yourself out. If you're not eating enough food, that's a stress on the body too. So you want to really make sure that you're taking care of yourself.
Are there certain ways that you can eat that help reduce stress levels, like for fertility?
Yeah. So with stress, the hormone cortisol is released. So you want to make sure that you're eating in a way that's keeping everything balanced. Like all of the hormones work together in the body. So if you're going long periods of time without eating, and then your body is getting stressed, and maybe your blood sugar is dipping too low, that's a stress on the body too. So having frequent meals, snacks if necessary, to keep your blood sugar stable, that's going to also influence cortisol levels. It's going to influence the reproductive hormones as well. So eating in a way that is, regular, having protein and fat also helps to support hormone health. So yeah, there are lots of things that you can do with diet for stress.
So what do you think that that doctors should be telling people about nutrition?
I think with the medical industry, the doctors don't really have a lot of time to work with their patients one-on-one for that kind of nutrition support. So they're not maybe able to have the time to create a plan with the patient. That's why people usually come to me. Their doctor tells them, you need to eat healthier, but that's all they say. So there's no guidance. Like, what does that mean? And what's healthy for one person might not be the best fit for someone else. So they're not really left with enough like action tasks or specific recommendations to help them. So I wish that doctors would say, yeah, there's a lot you can do with nutrition. Like I recommend finding somebody who can help you with that. Like just kind of acknowledging that, okay, I don't have the time to help you specifically with this because, they have a lot of work they have to do. So to referring them to somebody who can help them, I think that would benefit their patient a lot.
I think doctors don't obviously have the time to know everything, but it would be nice that if they at least refer you to somebody who can help or tell you how to find those people.
Yeah, exactly. So some nutritionists partner with a doctor so that they can um, have those referrals coming to them. And then the doctor knows, okay, I work with this nutritionist and I trust them. So that can be a really great partnership too for the doctor. And then the patient knows, or the patient and then the client knows, okay, the doctor recommended this. That means I can trust this person because,
Right.
if you're just searching online, it can be overwhelming. Like, who do I talk to? And will this person understand my needs? I think having that partnership can be really beneficial.
Yeah, I definitely agree because you're right. It does give it a form of trust there. Like I
Mm-hmm.
know it's referred by my doctor who I trust, so I can trust this person instead of some random person on Google.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do people ensure that they're finding good quality food? Like what are some things that you suggest they look for or try to stay away from?
For for food, like these days, food is really expensive. We can see the prices are rising everywhere. Like I'm in Canada and it can be quite expensive. So it's based on budget, like what you can afford. I would never want to make anyone feel like that having a good diet is not attainable because of their budget reasons. So I recommend organic foods, locally grown foods, grass-fed, pasture-raised meats. Those are going to be the healthiest options because there's less pesticides or herbicides on them, which is better because those can be endocrine disrupting. But it's not attainable for everyone because it could be too expensive, or maybe um, there's just not a shop that carries those items near your house. But having whole foods and fresh food is going to be better than the processed food or the packaged food. So doing the best you can with what's available to you is definitely going to help. And frozen foods are a great option too, like frozen fruits and frozen vegetables, because they're usually picked at the peak of ripeness and frozen right away. So they still retain a lot of their nutrients. So it can be more affordable to have frozen. I love frozen fruits and smoothies, of course. It's a really easy way to get it. It's cheaper than the fresh fruits and also available all year round. So that's a great option. Looking for local farmers. I know I order my meats from a local farm that does home delivery so that I'm getting grass-fed, pasture-raised meats right to my home. So it's really convenient because at the grocery store, you may not know much about the history of where that meat is coming from. So if that's important to you, then looking for a local farm is going to be really beneficial for you.
Now, what about canned options? Are those good options or are those something you should try to stay away from?
I would say like canned fruits and vegetables, whenever anything is canned, it's going through a high heat temperature process. So it can deplete a lot of those vitamins in there. But canned beans can be really good, or canned tomatoes for a soup or a stew. I would say also watch for BPA free lining on cans because that BPA lining can be an endocrine disruptor as well. And when we're trying to get pregnant, we want to protect our hormones as much as possible. So checking for that on the label can be helpful too, or shopping for things that are in glass. So you can buy, it's not as easy, but you can buy canned tomatoes in glass or tomato sauce in glass. So yeah, looking for things like that.
So, are there other things that are endocrine disruptors that people should look out for?
Yeah, there's like plastic water bottles are a major source. So trying to limit how often you're drinking from a plastic water bottle, using stainless steel or glass is a better alternative. There's endocrine disruptors everywhere, not just in food sources. So it can also be in beauty products like lotions, body wash, skincare, foundation, lipstick, all of that kind of stuff, and household cleaning products. I know it can feel overwhelming, like everything all around us is potentially toxic, but I don't think that having that mindset of trying to be completely toxin free is attainable, and it's just going to stress you out too much. So just kind of thinking where you can make some changes, like if you're almost out of your cleaning product, then try to replace it with one that will be a little bit healthier for the home, instead of trying to, throw away everything all at once and then replace it with better alternatives. It's way too expensive, and it's just like too much stress. So just trying to make some changes gradually so you don't feel so overwhelmed. I think that's like the best way to do it.
Yeah, it definitely is overwhelming when you think like, oh my gosh, like every product in my house can disrupt
Yeah.
my hormones. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Things like candles as well, candles or air fresheners, those really heavily fragranced products often have some not so good things in them. So trying to find some alternatives to still, add the ambiance with a candle, but looking for a beeswax candle or using essential oils and diffusing them in your home, you can still get that same kind of feeling, but in a healthier way.
I never even really knew that about the candles. So
Oh,
that's good
really?
to know. I don't
Yeah.
like burn a lot, in my
Mhm.
house, but yeah, I didn't know that they could cause those issues.
Yeah.
So do you have any other advice for people who are struggling with fertility?
Yeah. I really feel a lot of empathy for people struggling with fertility because, when you want to get pregnant, that's the main thing you're focusing on. So you feel a lot of like stress and pressure to get pregnant, but focusing on your overall lifestyle is important too. Like, are you getting good quality sleep? Are you working to manage stress? And that can be different for everyone. It can be journaling, meditation, going for walks, doing something creative. So trying to balance that, the stress of trying to conceive and feeling all that pressure, with some stress reducing activities, and then as well as the diet and getting some movement in. But I come, I approach this topic with a really holistic point of view. So trying to think about the whole lifestyle in general. And yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, no, yeah, it did. So I do have a question about the exercise portion
Mhm.
because I may have mentioned that I have PCOS.
Mhm.
So, I see a lot of conflicting information about what type of exercise you're supposed to do. Some say do the gentle exercise, some say do more cardio, do more HIIT. So what do you like typically recommend people do the more, or does it depend on the person?
With PCOS, oftentimes there's different types of PCOS, and one of the types is adrenal PCOS. So that means that woman has too much stress in her body. And when you're doing the HIIT workouts or really heavy cardio based workouts, even though you may like it may be fun for you, it can still kind of create a stress on the body because that's putting your body through a lot of like physical stress. And your body doesn't know, okay, yeah, she's just exercising. It just thinks, whoa, the heart rate's going up and this is happening. And so it thinks it could be a negative stress. So usually for PCOS women, it can be more beneficial to do more gentle workouts or weight bearing exercises that aren't going to be as stressful on the body or what the body perceives as stressful. A lot of women get more benefit from those styles of workouts.
Yeah, that's what I read a lot of, and I'm like, but I find the other ones more fun, you
Yeah, yeah. So
know?
if you find it fun, like you still need to enjoy your life, maybe mix it up, maybe try different things or limit how long you're doing those exercises. Yeah, ultimately we're all unique and we need to do what's best for us. So there's not like a one solution for everyone recommendation in
Right.
this. Yeah.
So what about people without PCOS? What kind of exercise do you usually recommend for them?
So yeah, I'm not like a physical trainer, so I don't really give
Mm.
like specific workouts or anything
Okay.
like that. But one thing that can be a lot of value to women who are trying to get pregnant is anything that's increasing blood flow, especially blood flow to the uterus, the reproductive area, because these days we're sitting a lot and our blood is not flowing as well. And blood flow is really important because that's how nutrients get to those areas. So you doing different yoga, doing Pilates, something that helps with blood flow, that's also relaxing. If the woman is really stressed, it can be a benefit. And if the woman enjoys running, going for a run, like it depends on the person, but getting the blood flowing is important. So no matter what kind of exercise you choose, it could just be going for a walk. There's a lot of benefit to getting that circulation going.
So is there anything else that you'd like to add?
That, yeah, that just trying to get your body as healthy as possible should really be the main focus when you're trying to get pregnant. I know a lot of women are rushing to get that positive pregnancy test, but trying to get your body as healthy as possible first. And then once you're feeling really good and noticing that those changes you have made are starting to show, and then trying to get pregnant later. So giving yourself like at least 3 months to, improve your diet and incorporate some new routines into your life for stress relief, etc. Doing that first for some time and then trying to get pregnant, I think it'll be better for your body because you'll be readier for pregnancy, but also kind of help shift the focus and not put so much pressure on just getting that positive pregnancy test. And I know
No,
it's not easy because
definitely.
people want to get pregnant now. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, having a bit more patience with yourself too, and not expecting to get pregnant right away, and understanding like it's a journey. And I think that's important.
Yeah, that's what I was actually about to say, that I know it's really hard to be patient when you're like, I just want that test now, but
Yeah, exactly.
we don't realize we can set ourselves up for hopefully greater success by putting in the work ahead of time.
Exactly.
So if people wanted to find more information about you and your services, where would they go to find that?
So on Instagram, my account is at Wellness by Joanna. And I have a Facebook group. It's a community group called Preparing Your Body for Pregnancy. And I share recipes, videos, recommendations, things that can help everyone. And I really enjoy having that community so that I can help many women, regardless if they want to be a client of mine or not. It's just a great community group to support each other.
That sounds amazing. I think it's always great to have that group that you can bond with when you're going through,
Yeah, definitely.
something like trying to get pregnant.
Mm.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on today and sharing all of your great advice.
Oh, thanks for having me. It was great to chat.
Thank you so much, Joanna, for sharing all this great information with us. I think you bring up such a good point that doctors often tell us that we need to eat healthier, or exercise, or make lifestyle changes, but they don't often tell us exactly how to do that, or give specific examples of things we can do to make these changes easier and more manageable. Just saying, eat healthier, isn't really helpful, because that can mean so many different things to different people. Is it simply eating more vegetables, eating more vegetarian meals, eating the same way you normally do, but also adding in healthy stuff? Is it cutting out all sugar? It can just be so many different things. And when you're already stressed about trying to get pregnant, it makes doing this so much harder. I have PCOS, and I was never told about the importance of diet for PCOS. And I was diagnosed at the age of 16. So I had, different doctors I saw that all could have told me this information, and yet I had to learn about it on my own. And I often wonder if knowing this and me being able to implement it during our trying to conceive journey, if it would have made a difference at all. Would I have still had to do fertility treatment? Would I have ovulated on my own sooner? it just raises a lot of questions about things for sure. So I really hope that you found this information helpful and that you're able to implement it during your journey to get pregnant. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Please leave a review or rating on Apple or Spotify if you love the show. Thank you so much for tuning in, and remember, we are all in this together.